we were taken off the machines, the doctors felt that our organs were back to a state which they could start doing their job again. The intensive care unit was wonderful. I know there's a few other drug trial companies out there that are not located in a major hospital. And if I'd been there when this had happened, wow, I guess I might not have been so lucky.
I'm very proud of the teamwork that people showed, everybody, and the way the hospital as a whole responded to the challenge.
Just a fantastic example of how people come together when things get really tough in a very unprecedented event.
I knew that I'd been very ill and I was still recovering, but if it wasn't for Dr. Ganesh and his team, which I'm sure we're all very grateful for, making those decisions, it'd be a very different story. We're really lucky to have had the NHS.
The company running the trials, Parexel, has apologised to the families concerned.
Well, they do, though, warn that at this early stage, it is still difficult to make a comment about a longer-term prognosis for all of these patients.
You know, there are different types of recovery phases. The blood counts will start to recover in a different way over days. The liver enzymes will start to respond in a different way over a month. And even anemia, which comes as a consequence of cytokine storm, takes up to 6 months to recover. So there are different phases of recovery from cytokine storm, especially one as severe as this.
I was watching some TV show which talked about us, why we did it, should we have done it, what we should deserve compensation-wise, and I thought I wanted to get solicitors involved.
After the trial took place, some of the trial participants wanted some legal advice as to what they should do next. They were feeling incredibly shocked and frightened, had no idea what the future held for them at that point. There was the huge concern about cancer and any autoimmune diseases. There was a concern also that it may impact on their ability to have children. It's quite a stressful situation, really.
My organs were back working, but I was like an 80-year-old. My muscles were just wasted away. What was in the drug or the storm it created, it's supposed to like attack cells such as bad cells like cancer and things like that, but because we didn't have anything like that, it started attacking our own tissue, our own muscle, and it just wasted away our muscles.
I definitely remember thinking that although they say we could be okay within 3 years, there was the concern that we wouldn't, because who knows what's going to happen. There's the chance that all of us end up with the same illnesses. And then what happens?
We had no immune system at all. So we were given instructions on not to go on the tube or trains or buses, just in case, if someone was to cough near us with some sort of germs, we'd have no way to fight it off.
I knew he was still in intensive care, and I wanted to give him a bit of support. So I went down to say goodbye to him, and he wasn't able to speak, so he was just like, I remember him showing his hands and a bit like, hey, what about my hands? I saw that his fingers had blackened, and there was no hope for saving his fingers. I realized that he was certainly in a worse condition, and he'd come off of this in a very bad way, and someone was responsible for that.
For me, one of the most shocking features of the drug trial was the space in between the doses. Our clients were being injected with this new monoclonal antibody in quite quick succession. Some of our clients were left actually starting to experience problems, whilst others were actually just being injected for the first time. That, even from a layman's point of view, seems ridiculous, frankly. It's another significant concern. They seem to receive the whole drug in 3 to 6 minutes. I'm not sure that the preclinical testing on animals was done at that pace.
Once the lawyers were involved, we ended up doing a lot more blood tests and so on to try and figure out, how is our body recovering, how fast, how much damage has been done. And they found an anomaly in my blood, which is which is something that is quite often appears prior to cancerous lymphoma cells appearing.
It was a big shock because by that point I thought we were starting to move on.
We got married roughly 3 months after the drug trial. And of course, normally with wedding, marriage, you think about children afterwards. And that was something that I was very worried about, with the fact that having this cancer scare, even the effect, would the drug hadn't been in my system, is there any chance it could flow onto the children?
Do you want a child born and then have the possibility of their father having cancer or dying soon after?
I was very down. The worst down.